All right, hey everybody, it's Chris from Smithy Fitness. Welcome back. So today I'm on my favorite field. I'm going to carry my heaviest bells, which I've been carrying for about the last 3 weeks. I've been carrying twice a week and lifting weights in my basement gym twice a week, and then the other days I'm usually doing active rest, like going for walks, that kind of thing. So I got my 28 kilo bell here, and this one's 24 kilos, so 61 pounds roughly, and 53 or 54 pounds roughly. So I'm going to do a bunch of circuits as usual, but I want to tell you a story today. And but before I do, I've got to set it up a little bit. So Mark Rippetoe is the founder of Starting Strength and Starting Strength Radio. You can find them on YouTube. There's tons of information, and on the internet in general. He's just a great strength coach. He'd be about 65 now, and he's been in the strength game for 50 years. I consider him one of the, the kind of the pinnacle of knowledge for strength building. And Rippetoe, he has a podcast that he puts on every week, and it's usually filled with funny quips, funny stories, and the answer to viewer email. And I want to talk about one of those emails because it really brings home the point of strength for the older athlete. So I'll hit that in the next segment. Right now I'm almost at the end of the field. I'm going to be doing 10 clapping push-ups and 5 pull-ups on the bar today. The bar is super slippery, so it's way harder on a dry day like today. So here we go. Okay. Always try to keep these under control. I don't want to be moving my legs around too much. Straight up, straight down, full extension at the bottom. Chin over the bar. So one question Rip was asked in a recent podcast was from a 58-year-old guy. So it's really interesting to me as I'm 60. The 58-year-old guy had not trained in 30 years, but was ready to get back at it. And he asked Rip, well, what percentage of what I could do in my 20s should I expect to be able to do at 58? Now in his 20s, he had a 405 squat, 440 deadlift, 250 bench, so good numbers. And I thought, oh boy, here we go. Rip's gonna say, well, you gotta be realistic, man. You're older now and you haven't trained, and all sorts of things to avoid and be careful. But he didn't say that. What he said was, well, you're 58. I'd say you can get 100% of those numbers. Now, if you were 40, Rip said, you should blast through those old numbers. And if you were 70, you should maybe only get 75% of those numbers, but that's still pretty good. But 100%. So Rip was saying, yeah, you can get to a 405 squat again, a 440 deadlift. And you know what? That's what I feel. I don't feel decline. I really don't. I just keep going, and I'm convinced I can hit bigger numbers than I did when I was younger. So just because you're getting a little older doesn't mean you can't hit some really great increases of your numbers. And even if you're 70, and I'm talking to you, Steve Luter, even if you're 70, you can hit some big numbers if you're 75% of what you could do in your 20s. That's amazing. There's tons of hope, and we can go a long, long way still, fellas. forgot to mention with the Rippetoe story is that a 60-year-old can get back to 100% of his previous best strength, or her previous best strength, as long as you don't do anything stupid. So that means no overtraining, no undertraining, no injuries. So that's a hard one, and that's where most 60-year-olds will fail, is that they'll get injured and really through no fault of their own. You know, we have to balance it. We got to go for it a little bit, but we can't go over the line, and that's a very fine line, and it's tricky. So get as close to it as you can. Don't go over it. Easier said than done, I understand, but there's so much hope to get to those great numbers again, guys. So thanks for watching. That's another episode done. Please subscribe and like and share it with other older lifters who are trying to, you know, make it happen again in their lives. All right, take care. See you in the next one.